Welcome to Behavior Code. I'm your host, Yogi Chris, PhD. I'm interviewing or conversing with Raul Cervantes, known as the Oracle around these parts where I'm broadcasting to you from Base 1, San Jose. This is the temple, the warrior stoic temple here. And Oracle came during one of the most powerful beast camps ever in the history of mankind. It was, I think, September of 2020. Trent Lara was there. Who else was there? We got a bunch of people on right now. Shamir was there and Michael wasn't there. Let's see, anybody else here? Devin wasn't there. Some people were there online, maybe. Very powerful. So what ends up happening? So Raul, married, has a daughter. He's, I think, a little older than me, like 38, 36. I'm not sure. How old are you?
38.
38. I'm 34. So he comes up to this beast camp, and you had come to some boot camps before. So you had done the live experience, but this is base. So this is where Arash lives. This is where all of the Guardians live. So this is our home that we're running this thing out of. And, it's quite an experience. So after 3 days of just intense lectures and different processes, boxing or whatever we're doing, yoga.
Can I join your live on Instagram?
Usually there's an echo when we do that. It's really a pain in the ass. So it's sometimes I think it's better to, because they'll still hear you through, like, what you say. They hear what you're saying. So they'll hear what I'm saying too if it's playing through your computer.
It's not. So.
Oh, it's not.
No.
Well, let's see. All right, so we're back. And so Raul had come to some live events, but this is the first one at the base. So we go through 3 days of intense lectures. At the end, Raul's got something he's got to say. Well, can I say something? Something like that. Arash is like, yes, because Arash is like tired of talking. He's like, yeah, say something. And he starts going, monsters like this. Oh, really? What else do you see? Well, Nico's like that. Oh, keep going. Well, Chris is like that, and Josiah's like this, and Trent's like that, and oh, keep going. Okay, Rick's like that, and Shamir's like this, and blah 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 blah. And Arash, I think you're like that. And okay, well, you're the oracle now. You're gonna speak from your heart about things, and name these things. I will get into what exactly that experience was like for you, because it was one of the most profound awakenings of a person's self-confidence and their expression, and in their I want to say, like, the fantasy or the imaginativeness and linking. It's kind of like we had that one day where we were eating. It was linking the imagination with reality and communicating imagination into reality. Exactly. So that was really cool to see that switch on for you. I hadn't observed it switch on for somebody before. So that was what was so profound for me. So that's why we call him the Oracle. Here he is, Raul Cervantes. And so that's your intro, bro. What's going on with you down there in Los Angeles? How's your day going? And we'll get into it.
Oh, man, it's great. And thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. This is super exciting for me, by the way.
Yeah.
You've been an instrumental piece in what I've been doing. And I couldn't be happier to be here.
Right on. Yeah, it's great. There's so many monks, which isn't really that many. There's like 26 or 27 monks. And, having you here, I remember it's an adventure. You're a character in my life and in the IMC Nation. And, so maybe we'll just go right into that experience that, maybe we just talk for a second, just so I get an idea again, like, what were some of your motivations to get into, like, to come to Base 1 and do the Beast Camp? Like, how does, for a married man, I talk to a lot of people, and, they're in relationships or they have kids and they have a business, and you got all these things. You employ like 120 people or something. And, why was this a priority to come do this? Like, what was it about it that, if you can recall at all, like what was enticing about it?
Well, I've always been working on myself for the last maybe at least 10 years. I've been doing seminars. I've been reading. I've been doing several things to improve.
Okay.
I've always known that it's a never-ending journey to continue to improve.
Yeah.
So I've always done that. I've always looked for the next thing.
Yeah.
And I knew that when I knew about AZD,
Uh,
that was one man that I needed to study. I just wasn't quite ready.
okay.
And so I started studying BC. I
Mm,
got into the whole business stuff and studying sales, which is what I knew in myself, that's where I was going to find the next growth spurt for myself in sales.
okay.
So I started studying BC, and eventually I met you, and it's been magic since.
Was that so? You were studying with Brian Casella, BC, and then I messaged you probably one day, and
Yeah,
so you had not been studying Arash up to that point when I messaged you.
correct.
Oh, I didn't know
I
that.
had heard of AZD. I had seen maybe a YouTube video of his or two, but I knew I wasn't ready for AZD. You know, with his line of work and what he does, I just didn't know.
Yeah.
My
What?
state of mind wasn't there yet.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I didn't realize that. That's so cool. What was it about AZD that you weren't there yet? Do you remember like what that was?
Well, from what I saw, his coaching was for men's coaching in regards to relationships.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I was already in a relationship.
Right.
I didn't think that that was going to be for me, as I was operating from that state of mind, or from that belief that, you know, a man has to, you know, be a family man, especially in my culture.
Right. Right. So, okay. So then what shifted for you that allowed you to, open up in that way? Like what changed for you? Because you didn't stop being a family man, right?
Correct. So I don't know when
What was
I
that
think it
shift?
was this one video in which BC was talking about character building.
Mm-hmm.
Must have been a lecture, and I decided to go ahead and look into character building because I knew that I wanted to see myself a certain way on video. And every time that I watched myself on video, I would cringe at just listening to myself. So I knew I needed to work on my character and who I was being to the world. I was a certain person, individual inside, and I wasn't displaying that to the world. So I knew that that was going to be the road that I needed to take. And part of it was I need to man up sometimes. So I knew AZD was the man when it came to manning up. And it's almost like you were heaven sent. You reached out and things happen like magic.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Uh, wow. Okay. So I didn't realize it was such a recent thing. So that's so interesting. Now it kind of contextualizes like my experience of seeing you come through in the evolution. You look like you've been losing some weight. Now you cut your hair. It's looking, you're starting to transform right now. Yeah, you're looking like, I don't know, you're beasting up, like your beast form is coming out. I see more of the bear coming out. And
Exactly.
right. So, all right. So there was some live events. And then but really the base one camp, and then you come here for that camp, and like talk us through like that oracle experience, like what happened that you now take on that identity. What was it from your perspective?
So basically the that boot camp, I already knew my gift. I've always known my gift. And so that boot camp, for some reason, I decided to speak up, and I
What
started
was your gift?
describing.
What was your gift that you always knew? Like what was it that you always knew, because nobody else
I
did.
can I can tell people, I can read people like probably better than they know themselves sometimes.
Okay, so reading people, your ability to read the truth about somebody. Okay, so you always had
Yes.
this ability, and then okay, so then
But because of my state of mind and the way I was living my life and the circumstances that I had going on, I was always in a negative state. You can describe it as a negative state.
okay,
And
okay.
so I always saw the negative in people. When you are in
Mm,
that state of mind, you see the negative in people.
mm.
So it always prevented me from going forward. It was always I always found a reason not to, right?
Yeah, so you would see the
So
truth about people, but then you would also see, you would impose another filter on what you would see, which would color it negative because the state of mind would color your perception.
Exactly. Kind of, the other night that I joined your live, and then I gave you some criticism because of the live skipping the internet connection.
Yeah. What did you say?
I imposed a frame on you, and you're like, I can either take it. Something about your flow was interrupted.
Oh yeah. And I was like, my
You
flow.
remember that?
Yeah. Got it.
So yeah. So anyways, I've always been able to do that. I've always been able to tell certain things in certain people, again, because of the negative state of mind that usually we find ourselves in. What we do is we see the world through those lenses. And so studying AZD, it's been magic.
Yeah. So I'm seeing, so that event was very transformative, and it compounds on itself because it's so tightly packed. That I could see, because your breakthrough happened like at the very end of the very last lecture on Sunday night. And I could see, as you're talking, the state of mind that you had personally affected how you would read reality, really. You'd read other people. And so it seems reasonable at the culmination of an intensive that you would be in a peak state, that you would be the best at the end. I mean, that would be the goal, is to, you don't want to be the best in the middle and then you decline and then leave. You ascend to the end. And that's a cool phrase, ascend to the end. So then you had your breakthrough at the end. So that state of mind would have been the most positive state of mind through which to read people. And then you came out with it. So then you felt maybe comfortable expressing it. You raised your hand or somehow got Arash's attention or something. Hey, I've got something to say. And all right. So that was pretty magical, and it rang true for a lot of people. It gonged Trent Lara like a big church gong, and just like one of those church bells, and he just started vibrating like he was about to shift dimensions. He was, reverberating so intensely. It was great. And everybody brightened up. I remember mine still. I actually wrote it down for everybody. I could re-stimulate everybody right now because I wrote it down for each person. Should I do it? Should I find the notes and read it? No, I don't have to.
Oh man, no.
The only people here that were there is me, you, Shamir, Trent.
Chris was there.
Chris was there. I got what was said about Chris. There's 5 of us. I could totally do it. I just remember what you said about me was you can really tell he cares. He really cares. And I was like,
yeah, man.
I'm a savage.
You are, bro. You are.
Okay. So tell us about how has life been different since then? You've also done residency. I think you come to another Beast Camp and you stayed for residency during that Beast Camp. You also did a 5-day residency, I think on a separate occasion, or maybe it was piggybacked with that Beast Camp that you had the breakthrough. I think that's what it was. You stayed 5 days after with Chris Cruz here.
Correct.
I got it now. So I know it maybe all blends together. There's lots of teachings that happen. It's daily group satsangs, they call it, group spiritual meetings. But how is life, or was that the main turning point, or am I making too big a deal out of this like oracle awakening? Like, what's been the big turning point, if you could name one, if there was one? Has there been any on this, relatively short journey so far with AZD?
No, definitely that boot camp, that Beast Camp was a turning point, and giving myself permission to just go ahead and express who I am, and just explore whatever that is. And it was just magical in the sense that in my world, in my imagination, I saw things that were very, very real to me. Mm-hmm. And so it was proof. It was proof that I could do whatever it is I thought I could do.
That's right. You got a lot of confirmations there. And has that affected, let's say, I know your daughter does softball at a very high level, you're married, or you have your daughter's, mother, or however that relationship is, and other business and anything. Have you seen it translate anywhere else?
Definitely in the relationships, right? In the relationships, It has transformed my relationship with my daughter for sure. I um, I understand my role now more as a father. I get to come home and teach my daughter and my wife what I'm learning in my own way, and so it has improved our relationship. The fights that we used to have are pretty much not there anymore
Sure, sure.
because I have a lot more control of what I can do with me.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
That's all I can say on that, really. That's been magical for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Expression, when you learn the right things to say, sometimes such a complicated or, difficult situation resolves with just the right few words. And, but the tension or the internal, the pressure or the closedness limits like what we say. So when we feel open, we have much more access to the words. And if we if we're open and connected, then we're specifically finding the right words that facilitate this connection. Because to do them harm would do us harm. To do them good would do us good. That's like we're connected with them. So I want to do what's good for you because it's good for me too if it's good for you. And uh, and then really having that confidence and certainty in your heart expression, saying the truth as you see it, reading the situation as you see it, if you're in a positive state of mind, because in any situation there's a silver lining to every cloud, and even inverted the other way. So there's a darkness to any positive and there's a positive to any darkness. So your state of mind, what are you calling out? And and then of course they're responding to that. You create that in them.
Exactly. So the state of mind is exactly the most important piece to this transformation.
Mhm.
Is understanding that your state of mind is really interpreting how you see the world. And when you focus even slightly on anything negative, it's like a cancer, it just spreads.
Mhm.
So when we obviously do our routine, we have the beast routine, and we're so plugged in to making sure that we stay and we're continuously fighting that negative state of mind, right? At least it is for me.
Sure.
um, I'm going through several battles early in the morning just to make sure that I set myself up for success during my day.
It's true.
So by the time 9 a.m. comes around, or 8 a.m. or whatever it is when I'm done, um, I'm in that positive state of mind where I am so high that it could, I mean, something really horrible has to happen in order for it to bring me down.
Yeah, and really it'll just if it's that horrible, it'll just summon you into action. If it's that emergent, you'll be the best prepared to just like boom, 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 do what's needed, and then you'll cry about it later. So or the next morning when you're beasting. I mean, beasting is hell for me. It's getting more hellish, but life is not even getting more hellish. It's just I don't know what it is really, dramatizing or something, but it's a whole like what you just said, battles, and I think even seeing it is that. Rosh taught incredible things today. It's going to debating to put it in the behind the scenes for this month, but basically he was teaching something about those dramas, uh, shifting universe in your imagination and rewriting the drama as a success in another universe, and then pouring your energy into that so that you end up reacting more to your created universe than the reality one. So nobody else really understands why you react so positively to what seems like negative situations, because it means different to you because of what you create in beasting. So you use the beasting routine to create for the various scenarios of your life or whatever, your mind really. And
Exactly. And
yeah,
that's pretty much what I've learned from AZD, is that we are learning how to become men every single morning, and we are going through our process and we're going through our own battles to make sure that we become the best man version of ourselves, so that we can handle things and we can be immovable. um, when problems come at me throughout my day. I'm getting a call, sorry about that.
sure, sure.
When problems are coming at me throughout my day, I can handle them because I'm just like this mountain that can't be moved.
Mm,
Whatever you throw at me, I know I can handle it. That's my gift. I know that I can solve problems.
right on.
That's what I get paid for.
Right on. Right on. What is it that you, I wasn't going to try to attempt to describe what you did. I just think of you as like a slightly smaller version of Amazon, really. Uh, what is it that you do?
Well, what I do is I help business owners in the staffing agency industry. Um, the staffing agency industry here in Southern California is huge when it comes to general labor work. A lot of the incoming shipments from China come right through LA, right through San
Yeah.
Pedro.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a lot of warehouse work and a lot of
Mhm.
manual labor work, right?
Yeah.
So staffing agencies are huge around here, and
Yeah.
that's pretty much what I do is I help other business owners understand their business, because
Wow.
you could be let's say a really good stylist, hairstylist, but
Uh-huh.
you don't know how to run a business.
Sure.
So that's where I come in and I help them out understand their business,
Wow.
what it is they need to do and what it is they need to accomplish to be profitable, so on and
Wow.
so forth. And on top of that, I own my own uh, with with roughly we've downsized because of the whole COVID
Oh,
BS.
damn it.
But yeah, we're somewhere around 50, but I
Okay.
am responsible for about 150 employees right now.
Wow. That is so much responsibility. Awesome. Running for president 2042 is Raul Jose Cervantes. Uh, yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. So that's pretty incredible. So people should, if maybe, IMC Nation, if you got business questions, Raul sounds like, Oracle. He'll not only tell your future, but he'll also tell you some sound business advice, if you win his favor. So how you do that is up to you. He's a big fan of authentic communication and also, um, you know,
Ethics, morals,
yeah,
and
there it is.
values are huge for me, man.
Ethics, morals, and values. So there it is. Bada bing, bada boom. So we'll open it up for any. Actually, what I'll do is I will end the recording. This is the new thing my apprentices suggested I do. End the recording and then open it up for questions and dialogue afterwards. So it encourages people to arrive live. So, any final words that are on top of your mind, and then I'll just plug the Beast Camp and end the recording.
Well, the message that I wanted to deliver today to your audience is that please understand that you are playing a character in a game called life. That's exactly what I've realized for myself. And how you play this character and how you contribute to life and society is the only thing that matters. Anything else you're chasing is just a waste of time.
Wow. Right on. It's totally, I mean, definitely my focus has been shift to character development for myself, like uh, and I just sent out an email to everybody. Actually, it was one of the quotes. It was taken from a daily lecture. Was uh, how we respond to not getting what we want, we should admire. That was a pretty good one, I thought. I just pondered that for a little while. So if you'd like to come to the Beast Camp, you should. The next one is January 1st, 2nd, 3rd. And Master Pyro is going to be here. So if you want those promo videos made, that's, huge. He's excellent, and he'll be here for that. And also doing some residency around that. Come shift into 2021, the new year at Base One. It's going to be incredible. We got some great recordings in the behind the scenes. Arash is just like tripping me out with how he's talking about male, female. I'm just seeing geometry and, with these behind the scenes, just audio recordings.
I have
So,
one extra message for the monks over here, the ones that are live and the ones that are going to watch a replay.
uh-huh.
Is the reason why I was able to shift my state of mind is because I stayed plugged in lectures, beast camps, residency. It was almost like I was breathing and living AZD technology. So understand that the more you plug in, the more you're going to get out of it.
And I want to add on to your add-on, because you personally, I know, talking about beasting, the body was an impediment and you hadn't been physically active for a long time. You're overweight. You're like getting into this like prison workout, calisthenics, and you've had to learn to modify for yourself and make it work for yourself. And there were some of the obstacles along the way were so big that you just stopped. but then you started up again. And, you know, what's your take on that? Because I have a different physical condition and I always have. And, you know, from your perspective, what's your take on the physical routine and its role in all of this?
Well, I believe we all know what we need. We all know deep down inside what it is we need for ourselves. So wherever you are at, is you seek what works for you. So when it came to the physical activity, I just had to modify it to something that worked for me. Now with the help of DC, Devin,
Nice.
I'm modifying even more, and I'm able to output even more just by learning about how to use my instrument, how to really focus on my instrument and fine tune it.
That's tremendous. That's awesome. I didn't even think about that. What a great collaboration. And that dude could use business advice. You guys are going to be like, you know, best pals. That's awesome. All right, cool. Well, thank you, everybody. Of course, you're catching this on any of the podcasting platforms or whatever. Follow, subscribe, and we'll see you. It's every Tuesday, Behavior Code. And then everybody else will stay on if you'd like.